Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's Wednesday, middle of the week, middle of the final week of the month, the quarter, the first half of the year, June 28th. And 6:30 a.m., we're just going to get into this and keep this really quick. Yesterday, got that, what I was mentioning in the video, you get these ranges all of a sudden, multiple 32, 25, 32, 35, 36, 30s, and then bam, out of nowhere, a 50, 60 range day. That's exactly what happened yesterday. Going back to preparation for that, and again, in your email yesterday on Tuesday, talking about how tricky this all was, looking down to the very beginning of it with the SPX NDX 4-hour oversold warnings, which has been a highlight for months. With the VIX gap unfilled, we have to give respect to this and be expecting another SPX 4360, 4365 visit unless 4337 resists properly and QQQ stays under 360. First thing in the morning, 9:28 in the morning, I'm putting there. It smells like an algo open here. Watching that 10, 10, 15, and then 9:30. Yep, smells like a rocket. Smelled like it, and that's exactly what we wound up getting yesterday. Was that rocket ship algo day? And to throw it in your face, it was a plus 1% day over on the SPX, having been now that we are going to day 23. Trading session number 23 without a minus 1% visit on the SPX. And we have Jerome Powell speaking at 9:30 in the morning, right when the market opens up. Now, Jerome Powell speaking when the market opens up means absolutely fuck all. For 3 months, the guy has been reading a fucking script. You saw the script in his hands, looking at it after every question when he sat next to Ben Bernanke a couple of months ago when they were due to speak. So he will be speaking at 9:30 in the morning. He will have his balls in his fucking pocket. He will not say anything that is detrimental to the stock market that triggers any algo words. And from the setup that we're looking at over here on futures, we've got cups, we've got cups, we've got cups, and it is undoubtedly looking as if they are going to take the opportunity to go over to the SPX and say, you know what, guys? Yes, yesterday created an unfilled gap below. And we're going to tell the unfilled gap below to go fuck itself, and we'll leave it for next year because we don't fill gaps below anymore. It's been deleted. It's anti. It's being woke. It's being on the left. It's being on the right. It's whatever the hell. But we don't fill gaps down below. 43.35 is the break down to that gap. Again, we are going into trading session number 23 without a minus 1% recline. And we have here the 50 retracement, which will fill the second of the three unfilled gaps to the upside, right over here at 43.88, filling that gap over here at 43.88. So, having been how we have performed going into this, it should be expected that we are going to fill that gap. Over here on the QQQ, very nice dip below that 36.50 over there on Monday. Fantastic little play. Right back up to the gap bottom over there at 364 yesterday. We will see whether or not they can absorb the NVIDIA Pelosi put combo. NVIDIA fucking makes their chips in Taiwan. And Joe Biden's going to come out and say, yeah, we don't think that we're going to be able to share this stuff over there with China anymore. They make it in fucking China. But more importantly, the VIX. The VIX has once again gapped up and is in the process of filling the gap to the downside and still has the gap from the weekend going back, which still needs to be filled down below 1359, and VIX fills gaps below. The SPX does not. NVIDIA, big drop down over here, minus 10% line overnight. We will see how it gets absorbed. AMD, very similar, as AMD has been on a shit slide, filling the gap from the NVIDIA earnings down at 108.50 and now trolling down in that 103.50 level that I was talking about. Now I'll bring you back to NVIDIA, right? We're looking here at a 15-day chart and it's looking like, oh, yeah. Well, let's go out to a 30-day chart, yeah? There's your NVIDIA earnings gap where they say AI, and next quarter they're going to say BJ. Trolling up in this zone over here, bagging the shit out of retail traders. And you know what? I don't really even fucking care about that stuff anymore. What's important here is what we're doing. What we're doing here is the SPX, which again, 23 trading sessions today without a minus 1% decline. Now, when you go and decide that you think that this elongate trade makes sense, okay, pull it up. When you go into this and think, you know what, that's a pretty damn good idea. This is prior to the open, these pricings. As we have seen the pricings as we get into the open, they are much, much less, much cheaper. Mondays, 200%. So you're talking about $160 from yesterday. And you've got the ability to make 840 possible if we get that minus 1% drop. Come out, look a little bit, closer to the downside. 4,300, 4,285s. And again, this is at 6 o'clock in the morning yesterday. 50 cents. Closer to the open, they were around a quarter. So 25 cents for a possible 14.75. So $25 and a possible $1,475 profit. You don't roll these trades. You don't go into these trades heavy. You look at these trades like, hang on a second, let me do the math here. So I could basically take this trade, $50, and do it 10 days in a row. It's going to wind up costing me $500. But the day that it does turn out, should it turn out, because again, it's day 23. We can go to day 87. I can bring in $1,500. So meaning I spent $500 over 10 days. $1,500 more or less is what I bring in. So I make $1,000 on that 500, 200%. It's however you want to look at the trade. But going in again, I'm not angry at all. It's just that I'm fucking frustrated and I'm fed up with this shit because I have a circle. 28 years took me to build it. And every single person in that circle being on the trading floor, being in the back office, running a hedge fund, guys that manage billions. Every single one of them is the same consensus. This is all bullshit, and we're due a decent dip. And after we get that decent dip, then we can tell whether or not we have the ability and the reality to go and make that next move up. But here, as we are trading here, going into the end of the quarter, the end of the month, the end of the first half of the year, and you have the QQQ up 35%, being that it is only 7 fucking stocks. Now, let Jerome Powell say whatever he's going to say, and then we can make decisions as to what we've got. See you guys in the chat room.